G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. So second video for the year. Today we'll be talking about a buy recommendation of an ETF. I normally don't do this for passive investing, not so much active investing, but I believe where the market's been going from and to, and this track record for this ETF, I believe it will be a good investment for over the next month or so, and then relocate your money. You may see a 5% return or something like that. You may also lose some money, so it's going to be something you're going to have to weigh up yourself. So make sure you do your own due diligence, as I'm not a financial advisor, so you need to take that on board as well. The main topic for today will be when to start investing. How much should you start investing with, and how to prepare yourself for investing, and how to get yourself there. Right, so the ETF by recommendation is ARKW, which is one of Kathy Wood's investments funds. I recommend buying it under 160 a share. In recent weeks, it has got to almost 170 a share. It's had a lot of selling pressure due to the market, not so much due to the ETF. So it's probably one of those things that I'll probably recommend. This is good for an active investor for probably the next month or so, where you might see like a 5% return on your money over the next month. And then I would recommend it possibly as a sell, depending on where it goes to and from and how the market is tracking, and then relocate that money to other investments. Otherwise, if you're a passive investor, this is a great opportunity to get your hands on as well. So say, like for instance, you have $1,000 to invest right now. I would recommend putting 1/3 of that money into the ETF, and at no more than 160 share. If it falls below, so it closed at 158 on Friday, I would put in 150. Yeah, I'd put in 1/3 of your investment money ready to put in, and then if it falls further, I would continue to average down your average buying costs, and if it goes above 160 share, I would stop putting any more money in. Righto, so ARKW is one of Kathy Wood's investments funds. It is the next generation internet ETF. Its biggest holding is Tesla. So let's say if you really want to purchase Tesla, but you are a little bit doubtful on the share price, this is probably a really good way to do it without getting on the volatility of what Tesla has had, especially over the last year. And it's considering it got announced and released to the S&P 500 just before Christmas as well. So that's something else to consider. And it is 9.5% of the portfolio, so it is fairly big, but it's not going to be as volatile as buying into Tesla directly, because it is diversified in other companies as well. The second company, which I'm very, very bullish on, is Teladoc Health. TDOC is 4.3% of the holding for the company, which I'm very, very bullish on. Rocky, Inc. and Square, they're the top four within the company as well. Square I'm very bullish on, has just become profitable last year. That is 3.89% of the portfolio. Righto, so when to start investing? This is one I get asked quite a lot, and how much should I start investing with? Okay, so probably one of the biggest things that a lot of people need to understand is you need some kind of savings. You don't need to invest with much, but you do need some kind of savings. And probably one of the biggest things I do recommend for you to have to support yourself is 3 to 6 months worth of savings for your costs of living. Now, in terms of how to work that out, add up your last year's worth of cost of living expenses, like all your bills, if you've got a mortgage, if you've got car insurance, phone bill, internet, electricity, water, gas, all of those sorts of bills, and food as well included. So you normally recommend, especially if you're starting off, you need to have 3 to 6 months worth of savings in that side of things. once you get a really big portfolio, I don't recommend you need to have that set up as such. Just purely and simply because when you have shares, it is really easy to liquidate that money and turn it into cash. And that's where I normally just recommend, if you've got, say, $100,000 or $200,000 or even $1 million invested in shares, you probably realistically only need to have a couple of $1,000s in your own bank account for emergencies in terms of that side of stuff as well. So once you've worked out all your bills and your expenses, I recommend that they don't cover any more than 60% of your income. Ideally, you want to get as close as possible to 40%. So if you're earning $1,000 a week, you would like all your bills to be no more than $500. Now I understand it's not always doable for everyone, but it's all personal. So you need to try and work out what works for you, and obviously you need to create a saving habit of how to do it. And the easiest way I found to do it was to create a separate bank account that isn't linked to online banking. So whether you need to go into the bank and set that up, and the only way to withdraw that money is to go physically into the branch to withdraw the money from the merchant. So that's probably what I found the easiest way to save in terms of that side of things, and set up an automatic transfer to that bank account every time you get paid, whether it's weekly, fortnightly, monthly, or whatever it turns out to be. That's what you need to do for yourself. Righto, so to help increase what you have saved for your emergency fund, one of the easiest ways I've found to really help yourself get there just that little bit faster, and you just feel like you are achieving something within the first couple of weeks, is to try and sell stuff that you don't need, or stuff you haven't used, especially in the last 6 months or 12 months or so. Whether it be camping stuff or a computer that you don't use or whatever it is. Could be anything of those sort of things. And you may just happen to find you might have another $1,000 laying around from doing that. And then from there, how much should you start investing with? So let's say you have 2 months worth of savings of bills already saved up now, because you're already a month into trying to save and everything else. That's when I'd start to recommend putting in $100 a week, or whatever it works out to be. $100 is a nice round figure to start off with. That's $5,200 a year for you to save and put into shares. Over the course of 40 years, that is a lot of money. And what would I do with that $100? I would start off with buying an ETF. And that's the easiest way to boost your investment. And just like my buy recommendation of the ETF earlier in this video, that would be probably one that I would start off with for now. And that way you've got a goal and something to aim for. Righto, so that's a wrap for today, guys. Look, obviously, there's quite a bit of information to take on board. It's not something you'll be able to achieve today. It's going to be something you're going to have to try and achieve possibly over the next... You might already have it already achieved without yourself knowing. It's going to be something you're probably going to have to achieve probably over the next month or 3. And good luck. Obviously, I've got a link down below for stake, so you can purchase your ARC W investment fund through there. So okay, so please like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.